Hey guys, welcome back to Feeling is Healing. Today I'm talking about how I am doing 8 months after having stopped taking Zoloft. So I've been on Zoloft on and off for 2 years, and at a certain point I just decided to say screw it and I quit cold turkey. Truth be told, it was very challenging, partly because my body was in withdrawal, but also because I'd built up an element of psychological dependence. In my head, I would be catastrophizing. I would get these intrusive thoughts saying, oh, what if I can't deal with this situation now that I'm no longer on antidepressants? Or what if I can't deal with another situation? And this would be going around in my head all the time. And I was really just in that state of fight or flight a lot of the time, in those first few months especially. I would say coming off them also sparked something of a change in my personality. Because when I was on Zoloft, it was like they provoked a layer of anger. It's like I was quicker to anger. And in a way, that had its upsides. Because I was someone who had traditionally more repressed my anger, was someone that would never get angry. But sometimes anger can be useful, right? In setting boundaries, in sort of feeling into when someone has overstepped the mark, has crossed over one of your boundaries, and you feel you need to say something. And it's also quite an empowering emotion. I would kind of use that anger to push my comfort zone, to confront my fears, because I could get angry and that would power me up, and then I would feel like I could take the world on. However, after coming off the antidepressants, what was in place of that anger now was more fear and anxiety. So that has definitely been something of an adaptation that I've had to make. I think it's definitely been a case of simply proving to myself that I can do X, Y, Z. I can do these responsibilities that I have in my life without being on antidepressants. I simply had to do the things. And I think over time, that voice saying, oh, what if you can't do it? Now you're no longer on medication, what if you can't cope? It kind of got quieter because I've had more evidence to prove, well, hey, I can do it. I did this, I did that. I did this daunting thing and a challenge, and I'm still here, saying to myself, hey, I can feel this fear, but I'm going to confront it anyway. I'm going to do this thing anyway, even though I feel afraid, even though I feel anxious. Once off the antidepressants, I realized I had to start being a little bit more self-compassionate towards myself. I had to lower the high bar of expectations that I often set for myself with regards to facing my fears. Because where previously my anxiety had been slightly lower, the fears that I was facing just seemed less daunting. They were still daunting, but not as scary. But now I was off the antidepressants, my anxiety was at a higher level. So I kind of had to be a bit more self-compassionate with myself. Not allow my inner critic to be so harsh, right? It's like, oh, you didn't do this thing, you didn't do the courageous thing. And it's just sort of allowing myself space. It's like, it's okay. Sometimes it's okay. It's like, I want to face my fears, but I'm not going to force myself to do it to the point where I'm at like breaking point. Some days it's okay to take a rest. It's okay to do the easy thing sometimes. It's allowing myself space to just be. And it makes sense. You could take all the drugs in the world, right? Prescription or otherwise, and they do numb your emotions somewhat. They do numb your anxiety, so the things which appear scary will be that much easier to face. And so it was a case of lowering the bar of expectations and saying it's okay to readjust and realign for a little while. And the other interesting thing was, as I came off the antidepressants, I felt like my needs had changed. Whereas before I was comfortable with a lot more solitude, now it was like I was craving connection with others. And I feel this fulfillment from having connected with others. It's like I'm more easily influenced by people. Whether it's positive or negative, it's just like I'm more connected to them and I feel more drawn to go out and to connect to people, which is very interesting. So it's like my needs have changed slightly. Plus, I would remind myself that being courageous can mean different things. for different people, and even for the same person, what's courageous on one day is different to what's courageous on another, right? For some people it might be courageous, and this would be true for me in the past, just to leave my room, just to go downstairs and potentially bump into a housemate. For someone else it might be just leaving the house. I often equate courage with almost like being the soldier, like speaking my truth and standing up for myself. But equally, it can be very courageous for me to just express appreciation for someone, to send love to someone. That's also something which is kind of hard for me. So it's like there's different ways to be courageous. It doesn't have to be going into battle. It can also be having the courage to love, and even having the courage to love yourself, because that's for me also something which I can struggle with and something that I've been working on. As for the physical side effects, I can say, yeah, they pretty much all passed after the first couple of weeks. And as for the sexual side effects, like the lowered libido, that also passed. So the libido's come back, and it's almost like I miss not having a libido now. As for what I do now when I'm in that fight or flight or feeling anxious, I still have my go-to activities like progressive muscle relaxation, maybe taking a short walk, cold shower, dancing, and I've also just been generally building up my support systems of friends or support groups that I can go in and sort of lean on others and they can lean on me and sort of share our stories. All that I find super helpful. And for the time being, I'm feeling okay about being off of Zoloft. I will sometimes take a bit of CBD to take the edge off if I feel like I'm too on edge. Or I also potentially go out dancing. I find that overstimulation, but actually having fun whilst doing it, means that in the following days, it's like my anxiety is lowered. Because I've been so stimulated, suddenly I'm less stimulated by my thoughts. So that's where I'm at for now. I'm okay with relying on these supplements a bit, and I'm feeling okay about being off of Zoloft. But I'm also just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, not putting too many expectations on either way or too much pressure. Just trying to be compassionate and trying to remind myself that we're also here to enjoy life, right? It can have its hard times. I'm also here to enjoy the journey. And that is where I will leave it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and let me know how you're doing down in the comments. Much love. Take care.